Hey, this is Tom from Wine Valley Woodworks. This week I built 3 walnut cutting boards with 3 very different results. Hope you enjoy. When I first started recording this video, I only had 1 order for a walnut cutting board at the time. However, in the middle of this recording, I was fortunate enough to receive 2 more orders. So for the first half of the video, you're going to see the first board. The second half, I try and include the other 2 boards in the filming process. The thing I just opened up is a blast gate for my dust collection system that takes all the dust from my table saw to my dust collector. We're going to take the liberty to organize these in 3 different piles. There's 27 boards, so 9 in each. This is like mostly heartwood, mostly sapwood, and this is kind of a mix of both. So I'm just going to go 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, so on. You get the picture. Okay, let's glue this up right now. All I'm doing here is organizing the boards, like I just said, before I take it to the glue up station. It's so insane how walnut can be so dynamic between the heartwood, sapwood, and the pieces that have a little bit of both. That's why I love building walnut boards so much. Day 1 is complete of the build. I am really excited about this board, and the reason why, if you just kind of tell the flow of this board, you can kind of just see the mixture of heartwood and sapwood and all the pieces in between. I mean, it's like a giant color scheme. It's day 2 of the build. Now what we're gonna do next is we're gonna run this on the router sled and then my drum sander, get nice and flat, cut it up, flip this board from edge grain to end grain. This is gonna look really good when I make some cuts and flip this to end grain. So how I'm gonna do that is I'm gonna make perpendicular cuts throughout the board, spaced evenly. So the board ends up being just about 2 inches thick. That way the end grains of the wood fibers are gonna be sticking up, which is gonna be easier on my client's knives. Let's cut it up. Those rips were so easy to do, all because of the router sled and my drum sander making this board completely flat. Measurements were spot on. I actually had this remnant left over. I'm gonna probably turn this into a cheese board for later. Anyways, I'm gonna show you what happens when you flip this from edge grain to end grain, and I'm gonna mix up the pattern a little bit just to give the board a lot of contrast. So this is my top secret that's not really a secret because I know I didn't invent it. This is how I make my boards. For the edge grain to end grain flip, I'm gonna flip these boards 90 degrees towards me, just towards the camera right now. You can see the wood fibers are sticking straight up. Everything's looking pretty good. I'm not gonna stop there though. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flip every other row. So that I give this board a very unique pattern. Not only that, I'm gonna stagger the joints like so. Gives the glue up more strength, so this board is even more durable than it were to be on edge grain. Back for day 3 here. The board's dried up. We're gonna do the same thing we did yesterday. We're gonna flatten this on the router sled and run through the drum sander before we start trimming the fat on this board and the handles, juice grooves, the whole thing. Let's go. Guys, I've trimmed up the fat on this board, made all the edges really nice and smooth. The next things we have to do is round out the edges, add some juice grooves and some handles on the side. This tool is a great pre-sanding application for the juice grooves. There's different measurements on each corner of this tool. It's just perfect for pre-sanding. Make sure that when you're sanding the juice grooves, when it's all said and done, it's even smoother than it would be had you not used this. All I'm doing here is using my router table with some stops to add some handles to the underside of my cutting board. Adding a chamfered edge, which is a 45-degree edge, to all corners on my board gives it a nice look and a nice feel. Now this is where your bread and butter is made, is through the sanding. And I'm gonna post my sanding schedule right here. With sanding, the most important part that I've learned in this process is to take a pencil on every single surface. Make sure you mark up the surface that you're sanding, like so. Don't stop sanding until every pencil mark is done. Do that with each grit of sandpaper that you use. You're gonna end up having a really nice board that also feels great. Let's do that right now. Enjoy the time lapse. Now this is the most important part about sanding your board, is water popping. Without this step, all your efforts go to waste. Now what this does is the grains in between each grit need to be sanded. Water popping raises the grain a little bit so that you can just keep sanding it smooth, keep popping it, sanding smooth, etc. So that by the time you're done sanding, your board feels like glass. This has been a very, very long week, a long 2 days of sanding, but I can tell you it's well worth it because the outcome has turned out great. Now it's time for my favorite part of the entire build. I'm gonna add some mineral oil to these boards. If this is your first time watching any of my videos, you're gonna notice a theme that this is the best part, so thanks for hanging out. Enjoy. To say that this week was busy would be an absolute understatement. However, it feels like I'm just getting warmed up. I love building boards for you guys. I can't do this without you, and I especially can't do this without you watching. So make sure you like and subscribe if you enjoyed what you watch. Stay tuned, I got some great future videos coming up, some great ideas. Thanks for watching again, take care.